Hey guys, welcome to another ride in the Struggle Bus, where every wheel is an empty triangle. It's been a while, hasn't it? I've been pretty busy. I've been playing more, which is good, and I've been studying more, but that leaves me a little less time to do this. I've also been doing a lot more teaching, and so yeah, I just haven't had the time to do these videos, which I feel totally bad about, but I've been wanting to do them, and so here we are. Today we are playing against a 9K on OGS, and some of you out there have been demanding for a little more blood. And I don't know. You guys worry me with words like that, but maybe you'll enjoy this game if that's what you're looking for. Um, this game features an early mistake in one of the common Josekis that we play, and if nothing else, you can see what happens if we neglect just one move of that Joseki, and you kind of see the cascade of events that happens after it. So it's probably worth watching just to learn that. Uh, Hopefully, our opponent has taken away that we need to play that one more move, and you guys will see what I'm talking about when we get into the game. Anyway, I'd really like to thank our opponent for playing us today. I'd like to thank you guys for watching these videos, and I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters for supporting this channel. Also, I want to give a quick plug because I've updated some things on the Patreon channel. If you guys enjoy seeing game reviews, for $1 a month, you have access to all of the Patreon reviews that I do. So every month there are two tiers that give video reviews. And so I've got a big archive of reviews on the Patreon page because every month I'm churning out a bunch of them. And so for only $1 a month, you guys get access to all of those videos. You won't get reviews yourself, but you'll get to see a lot of reviews. So if that's something you enjoy and you want to support the channel, have at it. But honestly, just watching these videos is enough. Anyway, enough for that shameless plug. Let's get into this exciting game. Okay, let's go and apply some basics. And let's see how our 9K friends does with them himself. We will start with our 4-4 and a 3-4 facing. We are being approached. The simple response to this is just to slide back. So that is what we're going to do. And here we can actually tanuki this because we can play c3 or c9. But again, just to keep things real simple, we will play c3 and do the full Joseki here. He backs off wide and high, which is fine because he has a stone over here. Let's go and 3-3 this stone. We've been doing a lot of approaches from the outside, but let's go and take the 3-3. Fortunately, at the beginning, right, the variations and decisions that we make aren't going to affect the game too much as long as we don't make any big mistakes. So whether we decided to play 3-3 or approach does not matter too much. But talking about mistakes, Black needed to play one more time here because this Hane at the head of 3 is quite painful, and so we will play that right now. This offsets a lot of the strength that this gets because we're allowed to double Hane here. That's the strength of Hane at the head of 2 and 3 is that you're often allowed to play this double Hane because it creates this weakness here. And so Black is forced to extend to fix that. And so we can extend one more time. And Black really can't Hane here, and now we have the Hane at the head of 2 here. So it gets tricky for Black, just how crunched and over-concentrated they get. So here, finally, we are going to protect our cut, because we do have to acknowledge that we also have a lot of cuts right here. So we are just going to protect this final one and leave this weakness for our opponent to deal with later. We can wedge at N13 to get this double Atari. Our opponent said, no, sir, I do not want you to get that. And you want to know what? I don't blame him for that. So what do we do now? Black has this really big area that he's looking to build. I think we'll just go and 3-3 this one as well. Make sure that at least the corner will not be his. And then we'll look at reducing whatever is left. I think that is going to be our strategy here. But you'll notice we are still applying the basics of going after the corners. We're going through this pretty quickly today, but we still had an open corner before we were going for the sides, and then we've got this corner as well. By the way, we will extend. We'll see which variation our friend decides to play this time. He's looking at the Hane. That is fine. I'm happy he's doing this though, because this is going to give us Sente, so that I can extend over here. So we push one more time, and now he plays this Hane, which is a little dangerous because of this cut. And we should probably take the cut immediately, though I'm just trying to figure out what the cut means with that stone there. But you want to know what? I am going to take this cut. I believe black needed to extend one more time. And if nothing else, this will just give us some strength to potentially invade later. Okay, so the question is, do we want to extend and give black this free stone? And I really don't think I do. I really don't think I do. So there's another corner that is open, and that is our corner over here. So I'm just going to play this 2-point extension, which will work nicely off of the wall that we have here. And black goes and captures. But that is fine. So we have this group. We're not so sure if it's alive or not. This is a big move in its own right. So I'll play it. It makes our corner alive. It threatens to invade and or reduce this area. And so what do we want to do now? So now the question is, do we want to build our potential, or do we want to go and limit our friend's potential? And either decision is fine here. But I will, it comes with a big caveat. If you see this area and you are afraid to do anything with it because you don't know how to invade or you don't know how to reduce, then I think you should be doing that. I think you should be learning how to do that as opposed to playing something simple like D10. D10, perfectly fine move, right? We've got a large open side here, but let's go over how to invade and or reduce something like this, because black is very strong here. And so the question is, how deep can we realistically go? Because he's got these stones here. So if we play a move like this, then we could get capped. What I'm going to do though is acknowledge that there's a ton of room here. So I'm just going to attach to this stone. This is a very common invasion strategy. So with this, we have to keep in mind that we're totally willing to sacrifice this stone if that's what it comes to. Okay, but we might be able to get life. We might be able to just run in and run out. So let's take this Hane and see what happens here. Again, we're looking just to get anything alive here. So if black cuts, that's actually great for us, because then that makes it actually quite easy to do what we need to do here. Black plays on the outside. I think I'm just going to Hane again. And you might be wondering, well, isn't he just going to cut and then get these 2 stones? And yes, he is. But this will make it so that we can actually get a good reduction and then get out. Remember, when we were doing these invasions, we're willing to sacrifice these stones as long as something lives. We could look at pushing here. This potentially gets us life. So maybe I should give this move a little more thought. Because living here would be pretty good. So let's do that. We'll try to see if we can live here. And if we can, great. And if not, we still have a way to get out. So here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play this move, which seems a little bizarre, because obviously black's just going to capture this stone, but it lets us connect underneath on the second line and potentially get us some eye space. So now we can play here. So now what we're going to do here is we're just going to slide and try to get some eye space. We can even do this big jump because it threatens to connect underneath. So let's do that. We'll play here, doing this just to get eye space, but also threatening to connect at S16, which I will very gladly do. So black decided to take the stone here. and we go and get this living group. And we can see this as a successful invasion. Yes, black got a ton of points over here, but we weren't going to take that all away anyway. Okay, so let's go and force this capture. Or not. Black actually shouldn't capture this stone. And I'm glad that he's hesitating. I'm glad that he's thinking of playing another move. He did end up taking, um, but that is okay. So we're now connected up. We can even play here, and this preys on the weaknesses that Black has here with his shape. And remember, this all happened because Black played this Tanuki instead of extending. And so you hear me say a lot that our decisions at during Joseki don't matter as long as we don't blunder. This is borderline blunder, right? This decision obviously really impacted the game because now that we're back to the actual game, these cuts really hurt for Black. So when we play here, this threatens to kill these two stones because we can take this cut and then Atari these stones. And then there's still this cut here. There's a lot that's not great right now for Black. Okay, and we can yet again play the double Hane because of all these cuts that Black has. So at this point, I think enough damage has been done here. I think you guys would agree that maybe we should go back to the large open side. So let's go play on the large open side and play the star point here. Okay, and our friend jumps in. So the question is this too deep? Can we play something like a cap and really punish this move? The issue is we've got some cuts over here that I think we should protect first. So I'm just going to play a very simple move. Play this, protecting this cut, also pressuring this stone. This is all fine. So now we can go and pressure these stones a little bit. And so I'll just take this peep to help strengthen and develop the corner because these two stones are still very much invadable. So here, I think it'll be best if we keep these stones separated from these stones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out here to make his escape a little tougher. Now he can pretty much only run down. And as he does that, we will just block on the left side and we'll develop a large left side from this. It's important to remember when you're attacking a group, you want to find where your profit's going to be. So in this case, I'm saying my profit's going to be fully securing the left side. But sometimes, just sometimes, when you play these attacking moves, your opponent doesn't respond. In those situations, you can decide to kill the stones. In this case, I'm going to give him one more chance because I really don't want to kill these stones. I'm just going to play here and see if he runs. If he doesn't run now, we'll go and kill the stones. Because that is part of the attacking, right? When I say when we're attacking groups that our goal isn't to kill, that's because our goal is not to kill, but you want to threaten to kill, right? You want to force your opponent to make moves that they don't want to make, and if they ignore you, then you have my permission to kill their groups. Okay, let's go peep this as well, just to get more strength for us. Um, he might be trying to figure out the best way to fix the cut, and that's fine. Okay, and so now I think we will continue pushing this way. And as this group runs out, we'll just get strength on the right, we'll get strength on the left, we'll get a big left side, we'll be able to reduce this some more because we are going to stay ahead and keep him split. Again, the idea here is to just drive his group down. We get connected to, I think it is worth responding to this. I'm going to respond to it in this way. Get some strength, also stay ahead of this group, which is our target all along, right? We want to make this is the group we want to make a little uncomfortable. So here we will just play this again. My goal was just to get a big left side. And maybe we can even reduce the bottom. Maybe we can even play a move like this to stop his running this way. Maybe now he has to turn this way. Because if he hanes and we extend, this cut's really dangerous. This cut's really dangerous. we'll go here first. I'm curious to see how he responds to this. Is he willing to give up this one stone to get this connection? He probably should. He probably should. This cut is huge. Okay, good. Good, good, good. So we will take this Atari and we'll capture. That's an odd response, but sure, I will gladly capture the stone, and we can just leave this. We certainly do not need to fill this co. This is a mistake I see a lot of players make, where they just fill this co. There's absolutely no need to fill this co. So what do we want to do? Let's go in here again. From this attack, I was saying maybe we could get some strength to break into the right a little. And so we'll play this to get some strength here, and then we can play here. Okay. And then let's fix our shape here. Okay. And we'll play one more. And we'll see. I was playing a little quick here. I missed it too. Do you guys see the devastating cut that is on this board? Because there's a devastating cut on this board. That's not it. That is not it. Though that's a good move. I don't hate this move. Which is larger? You want to know what? I'll reward him. Go get those 3 stones. That's good. If he wants to kill, I think he needs to play S12. I think that is the cleanest way to do it. S13 would also work. But now we can turn. And we can... What do we want to do now? What do we want to do now? I think we'll just go and take that free Atari. And do we want to play here? Do we want to play G7 and make this really awkward for our opponent? Not so sure. I'm not so sure I do. But playing here does separate this group because it threatens this cut, it threatens this cut. But I do not think we need it, so I'm just going to play here. But if he gets a little ahead of himself here, then we have this cut, and you guys do have my permission to play these cuts. They're strong. You should play them. But I'm not in the job of crushing our opponent's dreams here. I'm thankful that they are willing to play these games, and so I do not want to go and kill all their stuff. That is not a good way to go about it. So, okay, so now we are transitioning into endgame. So if we want, we can start this co-op. I don't think it's worth it. This is a pretty large move. This looks like 100% Sente, so we'll take this because Black really can't let us break in. I think he's doing some reading. That's fine. This is 100% Sente because Black cannot Hane, else these stones would die. So we'll push again. And what do we want to do now? I think we can play here. That threatens this cut. And this cut. Oh noes. The shape is falling apart. This is all because, it's crazy. It's crazy how it happens. It's all because of this Hane and all the weak shape that got imposed on white here. So yeah, things are going to get a little awkward here because we can play this, which fixes our cut, which has been there. Again, I was willing to give up the stone. And now there's this cut, which turns on this Atari, which turns on this Atari, it's all bad. It is all bad. So here, let's see. Yeah, unfortunately, I think we have to take this cut. Too many cuts in this game. Unfortunately, that doesn't work because we have this, and we can go and capture. And I think that's going to be the end of this one because this is obviously a very large kill. So this actually is where the game ended up ending. Our opponent resigned here. So let's take a look at the review of this game to see where our friends could have played a little bit better. Okay, so we'll just be taking a look at mostly his moves. So everything starts off fine. This is all fine and good. Um, this usually when we play, if we want to play this, we just take it right now. But this seems perfectly reasonable. This isn't why we're going to lose games. This might not even be a mistake. So we jump into the 3-3, and we went over it in the game a lot, but this is Black is obligated to play this move, and we showed why Black is obligated to play this move. So it's important to know if you're looking for Sente, if you get 3-3'd and you want Sente from this exchange, you should extend one more time. And if white just slides, now you can go and Snooki. Or if white pushes one more time, we Hane, they Hane, and now we can Snooki, and this is considered okay as well. The reason is Hane at the head of one isn't a thing. That's not a term that you guys hear, because Hane at the head of one is just an Atari. So if white plays this, we can just connect and everything's fine. Okay. The issue is once you push the second time, you're obligated to play again because the Hane at the head of two is too painful. And then when we push again, you're obligated to push one more time because the Hane at the head of three is also too painful. So when our opponent Tanuki'd, we immediately take this. And this might be a hard move for you guys to play because this looks like a very large move. And you look at this and you're like, oh, Black is getting all of the tempo here. You know, look at this huge moyo that's being formed, and what does White really have on this board? And so it's sometimes difficult to play these moves where you know that this might be the punishing move, but just doesn't look big enough. But I promise it is big enough. Interesting note. In between, the end of the game and doing this review, I just flipped through the game just with the OGS AI real quick. It only called this like a 1.5 point mistake. But from a human standpoint, it feels larger. This Hane at the head of three really hurts. So, and again, it's because we can double Hane. If you're playing this and then extending, this is a big mistake. You can't do that. You need to be firm, because Black can't do this because it comes with this, and losing these 3 stones would be too much. So Black has to extend. We extend again, which turns on this Hane, which we were more than happy to take. Again, Black needed to extend here. And then we would extend again, and Black would extend. And it looks like Black's getting a lot from this, but you'll notice this stone's kind of oddly placed. We're building a lot as well, but this still would have been better than this because now we get this Hane out of 2, and we decide to connect. But you'll notice these cuts are here, and they caused some havoc later in the game, and that's why this is so strong. Is these cuts? They are debts that we need to pay, and they might come back later. So we decided to 3-3. I think this was a fine choice by our opponent. This may have been a little ambitious, but after I cut, I realized I don't think we want to play this, because then maybe this is big enough. But I didn't want him to get another wall. Either way, we Tanuki'd and Black captured here, which seems so small, right? Black was willing to play this to threaten our stone, and we didn't even respond to it, which says I'm not really in the mood to save this stone right now. So Black really needed to take this opportunity to do something like here or here or here. There's lots of options. They're all pretty complicated in this corner, admittedly. Black could have played here, something on this left side. This left side's very large. Potentially invade here. Black could have also considered doing something like this to further build this moyo. But unfortunately, Black captured the stone, and that was really like pushing the pass button here. This was just so small, playing these 2 stones just to capture the one. And while it gives Black great strength here, it was too much. So we extend and Black blocks. I think here Black probably needs to not answer this, and again, play something on the left. When we have big moyos like this, we have to understand that as Black, we're not going to get all of this. There's really no way to get all of this as our territory. it's almost better to look at it as like here's our central stone, right? The thing that holds everything together. It's pretty much better to just look at this as two territories and understand that you're most likely going to lose one and you're going to get the other. And hopefully they are big enough. And they are pretty large, right? So here, if black ignores this and ends up losing something here, they'll end up building here. So let's just say that black plays a simple move like this, and I decide to jump in here. We can do this, this typical response, right? Something like this. I don't know exactly how this would go. Something like this. We'll just say it goes like that, okay? And yeah, that's a huge reduction, but you'll notice that now there's pretty much nothing that can be done here. This is all blacks. And there's still potential here. And black got a big tanuki. So that would have been better than just passively blocking, because in this case, I was playing this more for strength and to make sure I was alive. Black didn't need that. So then we go here. I think black responded well. There's lots of things black could do here. Just to show him a little bit more, if black plays this, I was just going to crosscut, because we don't care about this stone. If this stone lives, that's great. So if our opponent plays something like this would be a big mistake by black, because then we can get this Atari, and then we can probably play something like this. And if black wants to cut here, that's fine. We can do something like this, get this kind of shape, and now we're going to get out. And black's obviously going to get territory, but this was just a reduction, right? We could have considered starting someplace like here. The issue is I'm a little afraid of this cap, right? But if we do it in this order, and then we end up getting this move, it's tougher for black to play this, because we have moves like this, and now all of a sudden we have a better way of getting eye space. So that's what happens if your opponent plays here. If your opponent plays here, same thing. I would just play this Hane. I would be looking to sacrifice this first stone. But since our opponent played here, I still took this turn, but then I decided to see if I could make life here, because pushing along on the third line is often a way to do it. Especially, I was able to use the weakness that was here, and we played this. I think here, I don't know what black needs to do here. Maybe take this cut and then look to descend, but I still think that this would probably work out okay for us. But black did this and then went and captured. So this is the second time that black has put a lot of stones into capturing one stone, while we're getting free moves on the outside. So now that we connect, we are alive, and black jumps in, and we Atari. Black should 100% Tanuki this. This was actually a mistake by me. I probably should have Tanuki'd as well, but this gives us an opportunity to see if our friend is willing to sacrifice one stone again to get Sente. Okay, because we're already alive here and black's already alive here. So black capturing only gets one stone, but then it gives us these free moves. So this is free because if we play P16, these 3 stones will die. And this because there's just too many cuts and black needed to fix. So we took the Sente moves here, and then we played away. So we got this move all for the price of sacrificing one stone. So black really needed to, instead of taking that one stone, play here, because we would never play this right now. That would just be, now all of a sudden our corner just starts imploding, even if black just wants to play something simple like this, or this. Just there are so many larger moves on this board that we could never take this. And so if black played here, we would need to respond appropriately. But black played here, and then we were able to get this. Black jumps in. I think this is fine. We could have looked at capping, but again, we've got a weakness with this cut, so I wanted to fix that. I wanted to fix that weakness first, because it's hard to attack things when you have weaknesses. So shore up your weaknesses first, then attack. So here we peep, black connects, we do this, and this was a very surprising move. because this needs to be seen as an attack on these stones. And so when black plays here, we could have probably just played this and just killed these 3 stones. I'm not sure that black can realistically live here. We could also look at that. But I wasn't looking to kill a big group. I just wanted to show how we can get a lot of profit even without killing stones just by attacking them. And so here, I look at this and go, hey, if he wants to run this group out, that's great. I'm going to get a free wall here and then potentially a wall here that I can then go in with. And that's exactly what ended up happening. He jumped out, we peeped again, and then we did this. And again, I'm just trying to funnel him straight down so that we can build both of those walls. And so his moves are kind of forced at this point in time, though this was a little, I think that he, as I say, his moves were forced. He needed to keep on coming down. Doing this allows us to get more strength in the direction that this group is running. And so we were just able to go and get our plan. And then here, yeah, here this is tricky, right? I think he probably needs to play this, but then he's at risk of losing both these stones. So he played there, we did this, and I did this, and he protected. But we see the failure and the weakness in this because we can just push here, which threatens both of these cuts. So black needed to connect solidly. So good on black for noticing that this cut just needed to be protected and that these stones were not important. But the shape really was going to be damaging at the end. Here, I think black just needs to do this. Because the monkey jump doesn't work, because if we do this, black can play here. And does the monkey jump work? I actually haven't fully read it out. Let's see. Yeah, because we've got 1, 2, 3 liberties, and white only has 2. So yeah, and white can't do anything to get more. If white plays here, we play here. So so black should have just connected, but instead gave us this free move. And notice, unlike what black did here and here, we are willing to give this stone up, especially since it's only a cow. So we move on. All this seems fine. This would have just been more solid. There's no reason to let white get that for free later. And then black got us pretty good here, but unfortunately this gives us some strength to go and poke at some weaknesses there. So here, obviously, I think black needed to recognize that this cut was here. I know it didn't come up in our game, but if we play here and black blocks, black is now isolated. And I think this group probably dies. I wouldn't be able to live with that group. Maybe AI would, but I certainly would not be able to. So then we kind of transitioned into endgame, but then unfortunately this cut then popped up as well. And I always struggle right at this part of the game, like it's clear that we're winning. We don't need to kill any groups here, but some of you guys have demanded blood, and so sometimes we have to kill, and this was one of those situations. And so really the focus here, hopefully, if nothing else, our friend has learned that we cannot Tanuki here. We do need to extend one more time. And yes, that means that your opponent is going to get Sente, but that is okay. And if you are not okay with Sente, if you are not okay with your opponent getting Sente here, then you should be looking to extend here. So that's where we're going to leave this one today. Thank you guys for coming out for another ride in the Struggle Bus, where every wheel is an empty triangle. Have a good one, guys.